Hello and welcome to the nomad stream. Surprisingly retired from climbing today, but I guess that means I worked out hard today. Anyway, I'm really sorry for not streaming for really long. I'm like pretty stressed out with prepping for an event. I'm like regretting signing up and paying for the booth for the event, because I'm like, why did I even do this? Like, I don't want to. Like, prepping for prints and all that stuff is honestly not really my type of thing, but it's done. I've got work to do. But yeah, I'm not really sure if I will be streaming again before Singapore Comic Con. I mean, just for context, I'll be in Singapore Comic Con on the 7th to 8th December. And then I'm feeling so stressed out. Why did I do this? But you might be wondering what is on my table right now. Ta-da! It's my first 3D print. I'm so psyched. I'm like, holy shit. First 3D print in my life. I didn't do the 3D print, so I hired someone's 3D printing service to get this done, because I know like zero shit about how to 3D print and all that stuff. I don't have a machine and all that too, and I know that working with resin is quite, I guess for a beginner, like handling toxic stuff, it sounds pretty hard, so I got someone to print this out for me. Holy shit! Hey, let me brighten this. So it's not perfect, like this is a prototype. It's yeah, it's just a prototype to just see like how like my first 3D print will look like, because this is kind of like my second sculpt that I've done, and like when I say second, it's like the second sculpt that I've finished, which is quite different from like all the scrap sculpts that I've done over the years and just like never complete and all that. So yeah, I just wanted to see like how it looks like, because like it's kind of, I guess it's kind of weird, but it's just hard to imagine. Like, I've seen 3D prints happen, done by other people with like other sculpts and all that online, but I guess it feels different to see my own sculpt being printed, and it is quite a complex sculpt. So, which is also why I didn't have time to like split all the different parts up, because it's quite difficult for me, honestly, this thing. So the guy's really good at doing 3D printing, and he recommended this size. I mean, he just say like that this was the biggest size that he could print in his printer if I didn't break the different sections up. It feels really nice too. Like, it feels like ASMR. Yeah, so because everything is just printed as one piece, it's pretty hard to get into the crevices to remove the parts. So Chikari brings me back to the past where, like back in art school, there was I think most of us were just learning 3D for the first time, but there was one of my class cohort mates who knew how to do some ZBrush, and then in our third, like was it 3 years or 4 years? Oh my god, my memory. But like in our last year of school, one of my teachers, I guess he bought a 3D printer or something. Like it was school property, and the both of them did a 3D print of his sculpt. Yeah, I was thinking to myself like, wow, that's really cool. And I feel like I would just never do it. As in, it's kind of like out of my hands, like impossible for me, because I was kind of like just focused on doing illustration, digital painting, and at that time my focus was like compositing, which is visual effects. Is so different from 3D sculpting and the game industry. Yeah, so it's just really cool to get this in my hands. Like it's really tiny. You can see them. You can see these for scale. It's really small. Like, this is how small it is. But still, it's really cool. Like makes me thankful for not giving up on myself, I guess. Yeah, so you can see like some of the problematic areas, because this is the biggest that I can print, and like so like one of her, and also like it is quite complex. So I'm really thankful that the guy helped me like snip off most of the supports, and then because he passed it over to me on Monday, he just didn't have the time to snip everything off, but which is also partly like all my fault, because I just printed this whole thing by itself. Like you can see, where is it? I'm not really sure whether it's possible to see. Is it? No. Or like, yeah, but I can't even point at it. But I think this, like somewhere here, you can see that the support is still there, and I can't really reach it. And like when I snip it, this support just like flies all around because it's so light. Let me move these away from dangerous appliances. So on the night that I got this, I was just snipping away for like 2 hours. Trying to find the picture of... Yeah, so like, can see most of the support has been removed, and it's just like this was the bulk of the supports that I removed. I think I can remove maybe half of this more after this picture was taken, mainly like this large area here. And like, because it's so thin, some areas, like this is pretty thin. Yeah, it's a bit, the sword is really thin. But also, this part is really thin. Do you see this? So, I think maybe maybe that guy felt frustrated trying to snip everything off and like didn't notice that there are some stuff over here that belongs to the spear. But anyway, that's why one of the spear doesn't have these ornaments. But that's okay because it's just one, and this is just a prototype anyway. And like, I should have given a better file, honestly. I can see how this one is so thin that it's bending after, I guess after the support was removed, it started warping. And then I kind of like miscalculated like how thin Messmer's cape will be. So there's some holes in there. But maybe I'll just say that it's artistic that way. The snake wings were like kind of destroyed in some places. I'm not really sure what it. And I'm kind of scared to remove the supports for the other areas. So I'm kind of just leaving the support like this. Anyway, for this will just be for like a display, like a prototype display on my table at SGCC. So I'm going to like probably just buy a square display case and then like people can look at it like this. And maybe after SGCC is over, then yeah, maybe I'll work on splitting the parts up and all that, which I'm kind of dreading because like this is pretty difficult for me, I think. I mean, I don't really know like how other people feel about this, but I feel like it's quite difficult. There's also a part that snapped off, but it looks really nice. I'm not sure where the focus is. It looks really nice. I think this came from this part right here. There's a part here that snapped off. We want the flame sculpt, which I really like. This one also turned out really nice. So I would think that if I can print just this one alone, that it will look really cool too. I'm a bit paranoid that I'm going to break something. But like, I'm not really sure whether I will spend more time to like work on this, because like it's just a prototype display. So I think, because yeah, maybe when I'm done with everything and if I can finish everything early, then I'll just like spend my spare time just like snipping things off like that. And like the guy gave me a lot of good tips, and I mean, I think one of the tips that he told me was to use a tweezer like this. And I'm just trying to find something that doesn't need to be there, like this one. So in the areas where, you know, and surprisingly, after climbing for like 2 months, it feels so easy to hold random stuff. I really like climbing because of these. Oh my god. But yeah. So like if I twist like that, then it's pretty easy to break large pieces of support, but I think half of it like just flung into my face. Need to throw this away later. But it's really cool to see my own sculpt like printed. I guess I should remove this. Oh, I guess this was what flew away. Yeah, it's really cool. He also told me to set up a pre-order, I guess, like a Google form or some sort, to like get people to sign up for whatever, to express their interest in pre-ordering. And like at that time I was like, oh, I don't really know how to, like, what to do with like all these Google forms and all this stuff. I haven't done it before. But, and also like, I'm just one person. I've seen like quite a lot of people online who, which is I guess kind of like the weird thing too, I guess, because like I find that a lot of 2D artists that I follow, eventually they'll get their prints, like their 2D art printed by a company, and then yeah, like I wonder who the 3D artists are, because like they make such like good like they've done a great job doing the translation of the 2D art pieces to the 3D sculpt. But yeah, like I'm just one person, so I was wondering, like, do I hold this off and like not do this until I guess I'm more experienced? So like one of the tips that he gave me, which was really useful, is to kind of like minimize the cost of printing resin. Like for test printing 3D prints, I'll want to print out connections only. So like something simpler would be like, let's say, I guess if I'm going to print this skull, most likely her hand is going to be separated from the gauntlets, and like based on the sculpt, like it makes sense, but I guess the focal length's not making sense. I'm really sorry if it's hard to see, but anyway, separate her hand from her forearms, I guess, essentially. And like, instead of printing the whole hand and the whole forearm, I'll be cutting it like short. So like I'm just printing out where is my pen? Where's my pen? Oh. Why am I drawing circle? Should be. He also recommended cylinders for the lock and key. Oh my god, this is terrible. So like, instead of printing this whole thing like this and this whole thing, I just like chop this off and chop this off. So I'm just printing these two things, and that way I can test whether or not the connections are good. So I guess that's like a good tip. But then it made me realize that this sculpt. Can I change the focus? Oh yes. Okay, I'm sorry. I should have just done this from the start. But it made me realize that this is probably not a beginner friendly project to do that. Because like even just her is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And also like if I want to think about separating the pieces to make it easier for like people to paint on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think like even just her is probably like 10 different connections to plan out. And then the other issue, which is not beginner friendly, is that I mean, I did this intentionally, but then in some sense it's like I didn't really think that far. But Messmer's flame is supporting her, and everything is kind of like interconnected right here. I think for Messmer it's just one connection point right here. I'm not really sure whether that's stable enough, but I guess if it's bigger than it is, I guess. Because it's right now he's quite stable, I hope. So yeah, the wings turn out really, really well. I really like it. I'm just like I'm very scared of dropping this still. And like I'm looking at the camera from OBS, so it becomes a bit scarier to not look directly where I'm holding. It's really pretty. It's so pretty. And looking at her wings. I mean, the cape is really pretty too. It's just like I really should have just made it a lot thicker. Yeah, should have just made it a lot thicker. Yeah, I feel like I should have just like made all the spear parts thicker, but like yeah, I just didn't know because I haven't made a 3D print before, and like I guess like I just when I'm doing something new, I kind of have to see it first before I can make like more informed decisions. It's like now I'm looking at this like, oh yeah, like I should have done that a lot thicker, but then I have to remember that at that time, like I just know shit about all these things. But yeah, like it's really good that I made these a little bit thicker because at least some of them are intact, or else they will all have been destroyed. Like it kind of looks weird like this, I guess. Like this one. It looks so lonely. Yeah, enough. I think that's enough talking about this. I really like the sound. I guess it's just so cute that they're the same size. Elden Ring Sculpt Round Gang. They can appreciate my hard work. Okay, I'm gonna set up my Procreate now. A lot of things to do. Ouch. So regarding the pre-order stuff, I was saying that this is not beginner friendly for a one-person sculptor, like kind of not really experienced sculptor like me to tackle. But then I guess now that I'm looking at it, and like when I thought about it a bit more, like I guess there's no harm in putting out a pre-order form, because like I just have to understand that I am just one person, and also understand that my skill level is at like a certain point. So it's like if there are people signing up for it and they feel like it's too slow or something, then they don't need to, they can like cancel the notification, I guess. And I think that's like a healthier way to think about things. So yeah, like I guess thinking about all these things that way, I feel a little bit more excited to be like, yeah, like I shouldn't put so much pressure on myself. Like just treat this as my first project, and because it's quite complicated and quite complex, and I do want to see this in a larger scale. And like I guess I am interested to see how people would paint this garage kit, like if it's truly made. Because like all I can do now is just do like material setups in Blender and lighting rendering in Blender. I don't even know whether I'm going to paint this thing. Like it feels a bit impossible to sand the textures down and all that too. Yeah. But yeah, like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, like just kind of like just go at it with the like as best as I can, and just make the Google form, I guess, on like what to expect in next year or something. Yeah. And also put kind of like a disclaimer that I'm just one person, and like I'm really not used to, like this is like my first 3D print in my life, printed by someone else. So like can't expect perfection too, I guess. Why is there a straight line? No. I just noticed like this flame is really straight. I don't really like that. I don't think it's because something chipped off. I think it's inside the sculpt. Somehow I just didn't notice it. Yeah, I guess talking it out like this to myself also helps. Yeah, it makes me more excited to get people excited to potentially get a garage, like proper garage kit of this in their hands. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be so tedious though. My god. I guess it's going to be like some puzzle solving thing. Before I remove this, I'll just slowly go around like that. The floor turned out really nice too. If you're curious, like this is what the bottom looks like. It's a bit bumpy. And then or something really nice, which I feel like maybe a bit hard to. Let me see. Where can I do it? It might be a bit hard to see, but maybe I can take. It's really hard to see. Or maybe because my iPhone 10 is like crappy at micro shots. I mean close-up shots. The other cool thing is that it's really, really tiny, but the flowers on the birds are quite HD, I guess. It's really cute. It's so cute. I'm not really sure whether it's possible to see the flowers on the spirit summon over here. Yeah, it's a bit hard to see. Oh well. Well, if you happen to be at SGCC, I forgot my booth number. I think it's like 1AA158 or something. Then you can look at this up close by yourself, because it's really hard to show with my current camera lens because it doesn't really zoom in that much. Yeah, it's really awesome. And I guess like I'm partly procrastinating with painting. Which kind of reminds me to the test prints. I made this as a birthday card for my mom because I don't have time to make. Well, I'm the artist, I can do whatever I want. But yeah, birthday card for my mom. And the test prints came out fine. It's pretty good. But then, can you focus on this? Yeah, you can. But then, yeah, I forgot, like with printing, the resolution kind of goes down a bit. Like this is a tiny bit of a blurring pixel color blurring effect, I guess. So I'm thinking maybe the colors turn out great, but maybe I might need to sharpen a bit, which I'm gonna do test tomorrow. And then just the other one. I feel like blue is always very problematic, but this one, I feel like it's overall too dark. So maybe I'll just brighten it up and then hopefully that fixes it. Hopefully, maybe. And sharpening, of course. Okay, let me move this. Let me draw these bits too before I forget. Oh yeah. Oops. Guess that was too bright. So I think this one is done. And after seeing the task prints, I realized that the ambers on my other prints didn't really show up that much. Like, I'm not really sure whether just sharpening the image would make it show, but this is alright. I wonder whether this is like too much. I guess part of the reason I haven't been live streaming my work in progress is because I kind of feel like with painting, I find it hard to like now I find it hard to talk while I paint, which I guess is fine, but I'm also like pretty stressed out by all these things. Do you see like how much I have to undo every single time? Kind of like really stresses me out. But I guess I was thinking, it's so annoying. Ah. Let me see. Okay, let me just like remove these. Am I even in frame? Yeah, I guess so. I need to bring out my macropad, but for now this is fine. I'm also not used to the brush, so like haven't like spent so much time on it, and it's it's quite a like I don't have enough practice with it to kind of like know what I want to do, which is also why I'm undoing so much, because like sometimes I just want a certain look and I feel like I can't get it. Let me just blur this. I get really stressed out with this. Like, I don't know whether I can get the prints done in time. But it's more so that I kind of like stressed up that I can't get my prints to be at like a good level, I guess. Haven't done an event in really long time. And like sometimes I'm just not really happy with one section, which is really annoying. Okay, I guess it's done. And like something that I do notice is the thing about getting used to things, where and also like getting used to things to be able to take more creative risks, or to take more, to kind of like push the painting more. What am I even talking about? But like, so I was doing the cape painting as like that was like my first paint over, the one with the blue sky. And like compared to that one, like I am a lot more aggressive in some sense with smudging things around. I like this. Like if I look at it, if I undo, you see this is before, this is after. So like, because I got more comfortable with painting, I mean just from accumulating a few hours. Okay, this one's a bit, I want the color to show. Let me just remove the grain a bit. And like, as much as I like to talk about the processes and all that stuff right now, I do feel like I'm working slower. And it's really hard to, I find it a lot easier to talk about things when I'm doing more technical stuff, I guess. Like when it comes to painting, maybe it's just not having enough practice or something. Like I'm really not confident in painting. But yeah, so like for this, this is the third camera, I guess, that I'm working on. And I started to become like get more aggressive with like these. And also knowing how kind of like how much details are lost in the print, then I'm like, oh yeah, I can just hit it a lot harder. And also putting more sprinkle and stuff just to make it cute, and yeah, like that. And just like brightening things. I kind of have a standard workflow now on how to tackle the different pieces, just to make them a bit more systematic, which is doing my, and also, so like one of the downside with Procreate is that color grading can't be set as a layer on top. All the color grades will be merged onto the layer. But I guess because of that, I decided to just color grade immediately and then start working from there. Because like in some sense I can fix the color grading afterwards if I'm not really happy with it. And like something that I found out, which I posted on Twitter one of the days, was in threads, was that because I kind of like don't really find painting that fun yet, and why I don't find it that fun is because there's so much resistance to painting for me. Well, I feel like there are too many possibilities that can happen. Like in some sense with Blender, it was more systematic, where I put the lights and then I'm like, okay, the lights is too bright, or like then I just test like between 0.25%. I mean, yeah, 0.25 to 0.75, and then test out the in-betweens. And like if I don't like the color, I just change the colors of the lights. But like maybe it's just not being used to it. But when it comes to painting, I'm like gosh, like what do I do here? Like which directions do I go? Like, is this going too far? Things like that. Like it's just, in some sense, like the more creative input you can put, the more freedom you have, or the more freedom I have, the more stress I get. But that's also why I just created a system to be just like to be more systematic and like just kind of like do things within the scope of what I can achieve at the current moment, like current skill sets and all that stuff. And yeah, because I feel so much resistance with painting and all that, I find it a lot easier to make myself happy to work on a color graded shot. So like just putting a little bit of warm, I mean, because I like warm colors and all that, I was like, oh, this feels really nice to work on. And then after that, I start smudging all that, which I'm going to do in another shot. So I'm not going to demo this one. And after that, ambers with the color dodge. Kind of explain this with the other camera, like my previous live stream. I feel like I'm hearing a crazy chicken outside. I hope it's fine, because there are like cats around the neighborhood and all that. Then kind of like color dodging different colors, and then there's a little bit of the wings over here, so just a bit of that. I might defocus this whole time. I'm so sorry. Maybe not good at this. And then trying out, like, because the birds are one of the focal point in this, I decided to use a similar color and like do streaks for them like that. Not really sure that this is fine. I think that's better. I think that's nicer. Oh, I forgot to do the chromatic aberrations and stuff for this. Yeah, I forgot to do it. And if you're let me rename this. Much. Okay. If you're coming back to the stream, I hope that you have a good day or good night. And that you're enjoying doing whatever you're doing too. And if you're new to this channel, thank you for subscribing. I think I have like 190 subscribers now. Yay! It's almost double of last time, so really close to 200. And I have 500 views on my Elden Ring sculpt run, which is really, really exciting. I haven't had 500 views before. And I hope that if you watch the Elden Ring sculpt run and you're also doing Nomad Sculpt and Blended, that it might be helpful for you too. Okay, this should be... I think this should be the merge one, so I can merge these. So when you merge these things, all these will be converted to normal. So you have to merge with the base layer like this. Usually I just group it and then check flatten, yeah. Flatten this so that it keeps everything intact. And then use perspective. Right. 90%. My iPad doesn't really go down in battery that fast with Procreate, but it's always better to keep the iPad charged because the canvas is pretty big for this iPad. So with perspective blur, I usually just put at kind of like where the focal length is. Wait, focal length? You see, like my brain starts to get jumbled up. Where the focus is, something like this. And then I kind of like just overdo it so that I know where the maximum is. Like this is too much. I mean, it's cute, but it's going to... Wait, this is still too bright. It's going to remove too much detail. So this is without and this is with. So like 23% is too much, then now I back down. Honestly, I'm not really sure if I want to put any, because I kind of like the birds in focus. And like I just cut my hair a few days ago, so my fringe is really poofy. Just what it is with wavy hair. Yeah, I don't want... I feel like this is like cutting a bit too close. Yeah, I should keep a backup for this. It was really hard for me to get into the groove of like painting. It just feels like really intimidating. But so like I really want the people who buy my prints to really like it, I guess. Maybe 3% is good. Yep, I think 3% is good. So just make a list of the stuff. Oh, hello. I also try to have my YouTube chat up. No. So, hello. Butt checks. Welcome to the stream. Your video can only. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you enjoyed watching it. I really put my heart and soul into it. So it warms my heart to know that someone else out there really enjoyed it. So thank you. Feeling so emotional. Yeah, thank you so much. I hope that you have a good time, and I'll keep going. And yeah, I'm glad that some people find the process kind of like behind the scenes helpful, because like I'm kind of just working on my own, and I kind of have to figure a lot of things out myself. But like in some sense, I feel like my past experiences of just trying out many different things has been really helpful to kind of like do like technical problem solving and all that things. So yeah, I'm really glad that it's helpful to like everyone out there who may just be starting out, and it's just like a whole big world when you're starting out. It's very easy to get lost. So anyway, yeah, so this was kind of like, I was like, I'm procrastinating too much. So I need to write down the things that I have to do. I don't really know whether I want to make the snake eyes green, so maybe not. And I'm pointing at the wrong place because I'm looking at the screen. And let me see. So these are just the effects that I was doing in the cape camera shot. Then this one is just a note to myself. And then this is what I did for that shot, which I kind of copied to the other shots. And this is what I'm doing right now. So it's just helpful to kind of like put it down on paper, or like when I was doing Blender, to just put it down in the text editor, because I guess it's kind of like this, where if I don't see the actual list on kind of like in front of me, it's very easy to kind of just get overwhelmed with like too many choices in some sense. Like this kind of like just me, how to say, this just kind of like me, what is it, like what is it, kind of like putting a limit on like what I'm to do in for the other camera angles just for this specific project, because I'm prepping for an event soon, and like there's only so much that I can do in this 2 weeks, right? So like instead of thinking like, oh my god, like I should do this and that and that and this, then I'm just going to do this and this and then this. That's just about it. But oh no. Okay, 5%. I'll just stream until my pencil dies. Hang in there. Because I don't really like, you know what, I can just charge it while I'm working on camera effects. Kind of stupid, right? How it charges. Okay, so perspective blur is done. I was kind of thinking like maybe if I can use like the untouched layer like this, so like do a bit more blurring at the edge and then erase off the parts that I want in focus to kind of like retain the sharpness of the birds and all that stuff. But then like now I know with printing the resolution is going to go down, and hopefully just sharpening it will be good. But because of that, I'm going to just keep the perspective blur at a minimum, because with this camera angle the defocus that I set for this is pretty strong too. Like by default this is already quite out of focus. I can see this one's very out of focus, so I think it's fine, maybe. And then chromatic vibration. So the same thing that I always do is to do the maximum so that you know where the limit is, and then work backwards from there. Especially with doing things for the first time, it's a lot easier to kind of like just go out of hand like that and be like, wow, this is too much. But it kind of gives you, or gives me, a guide on how to tackle the different things. So I really just want like a little bit. I need to look overhead. Sometimes it's also useful to compare the before and after with a zoom in and like a zoomed out shot. Maybe this is good. I forgot about this, but then I feel like I'm not going to put any bloom inside. Also be mindful that chromatic aberration, or at least this one from perspective, also kind of blurs the image a bit. So like I kind of just do a little bit of perspective blur and then a little bit of chromatic aberration, and then that kind of like doubles the blurring effect on the edges. I'm just checking. Although checking like this kind of like make me feel a bit insane sometimes. Okay, I think this is done. Okay, I guess I should check how it looks like when I sharpen it. Am I not right? Do you wonder where the sharpening would work out? Because I think based on what I see in the print, something like this kind of disappears, or it's not really that visible. The overall image based on the printing shop that I went to also darkens. I think it's quite similar to when the iPad is 50%. I should write that. Yeah, or just putting the print on the side and then matching it to the screen. And I think around 50% brightness is like what this will look like. So I think before I send it for printing, I'll just set my iPad to 50% brightness and then adjust the like do the color correction and the curves editing from there, and then sharpen. So rename this sharpen. I'm not really sure whether this is enough. I always say like Procreate is really, really nice for doing paint overs like this. And I really like how the perspective and chromatic aberration works. It's really nice. But then yeah, I just like can't really get into it that much because I don't really like the UI. I guess I've become a very picky person. Okay, I'll open the other shot now. This one, I was working on this yesterday. That's a great idea to write stuff down to check it off. I feel like it was just yesterday when I will also do stuff and get ideas and then procrastinate, and then I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And like the shittiest part is that the procrastination can last for hours or days, and when I finally get my ass to do the work, I'll be like, wow, if I just did this on Monday, I could have finished this on Tuesday and now it's already Thursday. That kind of thing. But well, my progress right now is still way better than last time where I'll procrastinate for months. So I'm just happy with like the small wins. But yeah, the same thing with this one. What's this? Oh, I see. This one is a bit tricky because the scale is different. Is it just because the scale is different? So this is like a top-down view and everything is really small right now. I found the snake cam a bit easier to... I mean, it's like easy and hard in different ways. But I found that one a bit hard, easier to do the smudging because there's so many big areas to work from. Whereas with this one, I've only have because of the canvas size, my layer limit is 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now it's 9 layers. I think it's too much. Because I ended up splitting this into 3 layers, like the feathers into 3 layers. Where I'll just like do a quick smudging. Let me get my I really wish that I can just upgrade the RAM for this iPad because I really like how hot this iPad is. But with this, it was just laggy. Why are you laggy? But with this one, I just feel like... Actually, is it harder or... Well, I guess I just feel like when there's so many details being compact, like this, I guess, like it feels a little bit hard to go around freely in some sense. Like this one is bigger, so, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Kind of like just getting back into the groove of doing things. Like every camera angle is like a new challenge on itself. Can I just do like this? It's like I would think that I would gain quite a lot of experience from the previous shots, but then I'll forget that, like, oh, this is that's like a completely different problem, I guess. Different problems to fix and all that. So in some sense, it's like doing something new again. Okay, let me see. I remember doing this for the cape shot, but then I'm not sure whether just doing this is fine. So I think one of the things that I have on my list is to kind of like stitch the wings together because it's not supposed to look like this. And I was using a different brush for this. But I'll just trying different brushes to see, but I think this one might work better. I guess it's better hitting it more aggressively like this. Like the thing with color grading the shot to kind of like get motivation to work on it, something like that. Kind of seeing things a bit with fresh eyes, so I was just looking at what I want to do. Oh, I guess I can delete. Wait, let me duplicate this file, I guess. But anyway, like the thing of kind of like getting motivation for me is to kind of like boost up the contrast and colors while I'm working on it. So like I don't mind painting like this, but then sometimes I'll be like, oh, it's kind of like getting in the way of my color picking and all that stuff. So I'm just going to disable these and then keep this because it doesn't really matter when I smudge. This is just a like, let me see if I can just, this is just like a soft brush, bright colors, bright saturated colors over like that. Right, the other thing that I found problematic with this shot, which is like there are like so many problems, that's why I was like, oh, I don't really want to live stream my problems, but I think I kind of just want to do maybe at least one more live stream before the event starts. I don't know whether I'm going to like procrastinate tomorrow and all that. But one of the problems with this specific angle is that there's just so much empty space all around. And like, I mean, this was purposefully set up so that I have the wings and these bits right here intact. Like I kind of cropped out Messmer's spear a little bit, the one that he's holding on to. But that's alright because it works for this shot. But because of that, I was kind of like how do I elevate this for a print? Because I think especially with like how in something like lower resolution a print will turn out, I feel like these blank areas right here is really not going to work out. It's just too much empty space. And like the other issue is like I'm not printing out like this. So in the format of posting online, like posting like this is fine, but I want every print to be like a standard A3 size. So that was one of the biggest problem I had with this one. And that's also why before I do like all the smudging fixes and all that, I decided to do some feathers first, just so that I can cover all these empty space. So I think I explained this one a bit before, but I used this snow gum default Procreate brush, and I really don't remember how, but I kind of reduce the scattering, like reduce the amount of leaves coming out. So I think by default, I can probably just bring out the default if I remember where it is. The artistic. I'm just gonna do something like this. So by default, it's like a bit dense, and it doesn't really work out like that. So I made it less dense. I just found the word for it. Yeah, I made it less dense. Then that way I can just like kind of go like that to create this. And then because this is an extra file, I can just work on this before I just smudge on it. And also use one of the default Procreate brush like this to smudge like that. It's easier with a big brush, and then just I can't recall exactly how I did it, but this is kind of how it was done. Actually, before this, I think I did a little bit of perspective blur on this, like that, like just a little bit, because when I do too much, I guess it works. Okay. Yeah, so like this, and then smudge it to give like variation in direction, because the perspective blur only works around the radius. So like with the wings, it's like, I mean, with her flying around and all that, they're gonna drop and kind of scatter in different directions like this, and like just do whatever that I like that. I think yesterday, I mean, this is the second time that I'm doing this thing, and so like in some sense today I feel a bit more confident in working on this, because I kind of figured out what I want to do with it yesterday. But like when I was kind of starting from scratch, I was like, maybe it's not that great and all that. So you can see that the opacity is quite low and all that, because I end up thinking like, oh, this is like too much, and then I erased a lot more than I should. And so I decided to do a little bit more like this. I'm not really sure if I... Do I want to keep this? I mean, I'll just kind of like messing around with the layer, but maybe it is something that I want to use. I think it might be too much though. But maybe I don't mind keeping some, so I think... You know what, I end up liking some parts of it, so I'll keep it, but I'll work on it off stream, because I kind of need to think about it. And the other layer is to do like amber sparks like this, and that helps to fill up the other areas of the shot. And then now that these stuff are kind of in place, then now's the time when I can do the smaller bits to kind of mess things up. I don't know the shit I'm doing. It's like I'm starting to forget what I did yesterday. What did I do yesterday? Yeah, I guess I used this. I think now that I'm starting to do actual work, I was kind of thinking like maybe I shouldn't stream because I might end up not wanting to talk through it, to just like get into the flow of things. But then like I know like some of you might be interested in how I make my stuff and all that. So I'm going to go for like a toilet break and come back. Kendrick Lamar just dropped his new album, so I'm going to listen to that for the 5th time. And yeah, let me go get bathroom paper. So I'm just gonna listen to music and try to get as much done in the stream. Kind of feel trepidations working on this. I feel like that's always the problem with me, I guess. I always find the final touches and all that the hardest. But I just spotted a straight line, so do the easy parts first, which is liquefy. Let's do this. Liquefy. Just also wanted to stream just to show like the stuff that is done or in progress. So I hope that it also gets you excited with what's coming up next. Yeah, like just wanted to show this before the event too. Yeah, it's really cool. So cool. Yeah. In case you're wondering, this is exactly what I did with the other camera angles that I'm done with. But I think I am feeling like this is a little bit harder to liquefy because I don't really want to distort the plate too much. I feel like that's one of the issues where like there's a hard surface all around the flames. So if I distort the hard surface, it gets like it's more prominent. Whereas like in the previous shot, when I liquefy some areas, the other areas are all flames. So it feels a bit more invisible. Where I'll just do what I can. And sometimes I find it really hard to liquefy, then that's when I'm like, okay, this one is really due for smudging. But of course it's just a back and forth process. I need to go back now. I'm really happy when my favorite artist drops a new album, because it means that I can listen to it for like the next month or so. Because like I tend to just listen to the same albums over and over. Like I can listen to the same album like 10 times on repeat a day. Yeah. I'm so happy. Got new music. New music. I think listening to music is also one of the ways for me to be motivated to do my stuff. Music that I like. Not enough RAM. I think there's like, is this the third or fourth time the Procreate crashed? Guess sad to say, but probably need a new iPad. pencil keeps dying. I think my brain and eyes are fried too. So I think it's getting better. Maybe I'm halfway. Maybe I'm halfway there or something. I'll keep going tomorrow. I hope that you have a good day or night, and that you found the stream helpful. I'll just show this again. Oh wait, I guess now is a really good time to show the render versus sculpt. I think it's like this. Wait. This is not easy. I think it's like that. I guess the light is coming from there, but no. It's so cool. Very cool. No. And I guess this is where I ended. Have a good night, and I'll see you maybe after SGCC when I'm starting on something different, because there's nothing really much going on with the painting. It's quite, I mean, there's always nothing much going on with all these work in progresses. They're all just the same thing, just a little bit different with every shot. But I'm glad that I could do this stream tonight before the event, and maybe possibly before I move on to the next project, because I guess this project has been going on for a while. A very long time. It feels like ages, but it's really cool, like where it has reached at this point. I'm really grateful for all the support so far, and all the love for the Elden Ring sculpt run, because without those things, I guess these wouldn't be possible. Yeah. Let's end it here. Have a good night.